just sort of trying to bring you a little bit to a close. I
Yeah.
mean, some words of advice and nuggets for, if I can say, organisations similar to yourself who are doing, fantastic work, but not seem to making that sort of difference, or not forging ahead and sort of about to possibly give up, and you've gone through those challenges. Some possible advice to say sector leaders, see other CEOs or leaders of organisations, whether they're independent training providers or whether membership organisations. What advice would you give them? That's one aspect of it, maybe if you can. Talk to employers. What advice would you give employers that are out in terms of the potential of opportunity with working with young people, and how they can become a more employer friendly or youth friendly brand? And then the third part of it, which will be hopefully the end part of it to a certain level, if you can talk a little bit about directly talking to ministers and civil servants in terms of the importance of youth-friendly sort of policies and initiatives. So rather than being 18th on the list, why should they move it at least to the top 10 or maybe even top 5? So there's 3 parts there. So I'll leave that.
Let me see.
Yeah.
So I think for employers, I think my message is clear, is talk to experts, really find the right partners. You can't do it on your own. You will not understand and have the reach that you really want to make diversity and inclusion a priority if you don't have a partner who's specialist. So find the partners. And actually, when you do adapt your hiring practice, your recruitment practice, your onboarding practice, and it is genuinely inclusive. And I say this as an employer that has 3 very incredible young people that came to us on Kickstart who are still with us today. One of them is about to start a degree apprenticeship. They have added so much value to our business. But actually, if we weren't in the trueness of being a youth-friendly employer ourselves, they wouldn't have survived in our organisation. They probably wouldn't have been hired. So I think recognising that when you can make those adaptations, sometimes it doesn't work and it's hard, but actually sometimes it works and you can change a young person's life. So really committing to that is important. I think in terms of organisations that struggle, gosh, I wish I had an answer for you. I could have packed up so many times, as I've said over the years. It's been heartbreaking and challenging and rewarding in so many different ways. I'm relentless about mission, and so that just helps because, mission is more important than anything else to me. I have an incredible support system from my board to my family. We work as a team at home, husband and children, and that's really important. And I have the most incredible deputy, so we're able to fight the fight. I don't do it on my own. I do it with a support system. If you don't have the support system, I can't imagine how hard that must be. So find a support system. Very few of us in the sector would say no to helping somebody if they needed us. And I think just as I encourage young people to reach out, I'd encourage others to reach out to the great leaders that exist in and around us and ask for some help and guidance, because there's always a hand, right? Yeah. And I think that's important. But also, do you know what? Sometimes it's okay to say no and walk away from it. And actually, that might be the best thing you could possibly do, and put your energy and effort into something else. And there's never a failure. It's just a learning. So I think recognising that walking away because someone else has got this, or it is not the right moment and the right time, I think that's okay too. And that's really brave, actually. Okay. And then I think for government, actually, if we could reduce youth unemployment to levels of some of the other OECD countries, which are about 4.2%, we're about 12% now. If we could reduce our youth unemployment levels to 4.2%, it would bring in billions to the economy, because actually those young people working and contributing is a huge economic boost for us. And so that's why it needs to be at the front. But also our job as leaders, whether we're in government, whether we're in national, local government, whether we're just leaders of a business or leaders in a community, our job is and should always be to look after the most vulnerable. That's why we exist. And so it should be just out of a matter of course that we want to protect those young people in our communities and make sure that they have pathways that will achieve their potential. I don't know why that wouldn't be a priority for anybody in any role that they have.
Okay. Thank you, LJ. I really appreciate that. If somebody wanted to reach out to you, LJ, what's the best way? I know you're active on some of the social media fronts and so forth. So, if talk to yourself on online, or what's just reach out to your website, or what.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love LinkedIn. Yeah. I've made some great connections and great friends through LinkedIn. So you'll find me always on LinkedIn. I feel really old when I say this, but I'm trying to use Instagram to be a platform as a leader, but I'm terrible at it. I don't know what to do with it. And so you can find me, but you won't find anything interesting on it just yet. I'll do that. But LinkedIn is the place.
LinkedIn is your sort of go-to, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I know what I'm doing there.
Yeah, fantastic.
Canny Conversation Podcast Series 5 by Safaraz Ali.